What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Creativ Rise podcast. You gonna intro? It's just me.
It's both of us.
We put out a
Joey
call for
Christy
you guys
here.
to help us with intros like a couple weeks ago, and no one's responded.
We've got nothing. So
apparently,
we're left
you guys
here.
like awkward intros. Welcome back to the show. We're so excited to be chatting with you this week. If you're tuning in your car, welcome. Don't crash. If you're tuning in on YouTube, what's up? Thanks for coming. If you're on IGTV, great. We're so excited somebody's watching. And if you're listening in just any other place, we're so glad you're here. I don't know.
We don't know how you ended up here, but we're glad you're here.
We don't know how you ended up here, but we're glad you are here. So this week's episode is going to be really fun to talk about. It's something that both you and I have been through, and we'd probably argue every single person listening to this will go through or they're already in.
Yeah.
So many people in 2020 were put into a position that we're going to be talking about today. So many people coming out of 2020 were put into a position that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So before we get there, we're going to read a review, though, because you guys know we really, really appreciate the reviews, and we've got a great one today.
We love words of affirmation.
Yeah, we do. So this is from Jeremy all the way from Australia. We have a surprising amount of people from Australia that listen to the show, follow the podcast. We got a lot of Australians that jump into the mastermind with us. We love Australians. This is from Jeremy from Australia. I've only been listening to the Creativ Rise podcast for about 2 days now. Well, we hope you're still listening. And completely changing the way I see creative business. So you probably are still listening. The concept of being a problem solver to the 3 checklists of saying no, that was really good, and how to actually price my work is so valuable. So glad, Jeremy. I love how practical, clear, and to the point Joey and Christy are while being super easy to listen to. Couldn't recommend it enough. Jeremy, thank you. So glad you reviewed us.
I wish you would have read that in an Australian accent, but that's okay.
You don't want me to do that.
Maybe
5-star.
Jeremy
So he
can
left
do
us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It's so easy, guys. It's the best way the show grows. So thank you if you're writing reviews. If you're sitting here going, I haven't done that, I probably should. Please do it. It really helps the show grow. And we just really love the feedback. So write a review and maybe let us know what you want us to do a podcast on. Give us a topic. We would love that. But anyways, Jeremy, thank you, bro. I hope you hear this. Just know we appreciate you, and we're glad you're tuning in. But to get to today's podcast, to get to what we were talking about, again, so many people in 2020 got put into this position, and we want to help people get out of this position today. And we're going to be talking all about what happens. What do you do when you feel like your business has plateaued?
Ooh.
What do you do when you start your business and it goes so well? And then all of a sudden that kind of year of people being so excited for you, referring you, kind of ends. And you're like, oh, shoot, I don't have any momentum anymore. My business has plateaued. Or the other side of that could be you've been really successful for multiple years. And you've gotten to a point where you're like, man, it's just not working anymore. I feel like I cannot grow. My revenue's not growing. My exposure's not growing. My audience in whatever way is not growing. Maybe your joy for what you're doing is not growing. You've plateaued. We want to talk all about that today because so many people are there. So the controlling idea for today, the thing that we always want to dig into your brains and make you guys think about, is what grew your business to where it is now what might be plateauing your business. So what got you here could be what's going to keep you here. It's not going to help take you there, right? And so the question that we want you to ask as you listen to this podcast and you leave this podcast, whether you get out of your car and you stop listening to it, whether you finish it, you're watching it on IGTV, whatever it is, the question we want you to ask is, what is possible? What type of growth is possible for my business if I was able to use this plateau rather than, get used by the plateau and it ruins my business.
Yes, lots of people.
That's kind of the setup for today.
Yeah, lots of people are in this flatline state, and it really makes people nervous because what they did before was causing growth. And so they continue to press on that gas pedal, which worked before, and then all of a sudden things are slowing down. Like Joey was saying,
which is very natural, right? It's like, oh, that worked. Why don't I do more of that?
Right.
And so
that's how you run
natural.
a business, right? You find something that works and you start doing it.
Yeah.
And so people are doing these things. You might be in this place where you're like, I'm doing what worked before, but somehow I have flatlined. I've stopped growing. And this has led to discouragement. This has led to, gosh, I'm not increasing my income. I'm not getting new clients. Things are just not happening for me. And I don't feel successful. And I'm afraid and I'm panicked that I will never feel successful again.
Yeah, that's a scary place.
It's a really scary
We've both
place.
been there, and we know a lot of people are probably
We've watched
in that
time and
spot.
time again people in Creativ Rise, in our communities and all of that hit this plateau and be so incredibly nervous about it. And we've had also the great opportunity of helping them get out of it, which is really, really exciting. So that's what we're going to be talking about today is, man, what worked before sometimes is not working now. And what the key thing with people who get past the plateau that go back up into growth is they realize that old ways won't open new doors.
Yeah.
Old ways won't open new doors. The things that worked in the past sometimes might not work for the future. And then there's ways to solve this.
It's one of my favorite quotes Christy's actually ever said. One day she was like, old ways won't open new doors. I was like, dang, that's so good.
I may have read it somewhere. I don't know.
Probably. Anyways, so to talk about, how do we even start to think about getting people out of this? How do we start to think about helping you out of the plateau? How did we help each other out of our own plateaus? And we're going to continue to go through plateaus because it's the nature of building anything, right? Think about it this way. The only way to unplateau yourself, by the way, if you can spell plateau, kudos to you. Plateau is a hard word to spell. If you can get back to the point, the only way to get yourself out of a plateau is by realizing that you have to use the plateau to get somewhere. Here's what I mean. I want to relate a plateau in your business to maybe working out in the gym. If you're a gym person or you have any concept of how a gym, works, this will make sense to you. I want to relate a plateau in your business to how a gym works. When you're in the gym and you're lifting weights, you're doing a set of whatever, squats, anything, you don't just do 3,000 squats and then leave the gym. You probably do like 15 squats or 30 squats or 12 squats, and then you take like probably should take a 45-second break, but you probably take like a 5-minute break. And I know that's what I do. And then you get back into another set. You had a plateau in between those sets where you kind of flatlined and you didn't grow, but you gave your body time to rest. You gave yourself time to like get re-energized. You gave yourself time to like focus on, hey, what's my next set going to look like? I want to do it, 12 reps. I want to do it, well again. You use the plateau to ready yourself for the next set, the next explosion. So in your business, the only way to unplateau yourself is by going, instead of being discouraged by this plateau, I'm going to use this plateau to actually give me like a runway, like a plane to launch me into something, right? So planes can't take off while going up a mountain. Planes cannot drive up a mountain. Planes can't drive, down a mountain. They don't. Yes, they can. They can drive on the runway and stuff. The only way a plane can explode into a new place is by using a flat plateau to gain speed, gain clarity, to gain focus on where they're going to go. So again, the only way to get out of a plateau in your business, and we're going to get into this a little bit deeper, is by going, I'm going to use this plateau rather than letting this plateau just like wreck me or discourage me. So I got a story about this. One of the bigger potentially like plateaus I was in my own business, and just to put some clarity on that, running a creative agency that I started a long time ago and still run to today, I was in a season where I had a lot of growth really quick, and the growth lasted probably for a few years really well, and it was great. And then I kind of hit that like, $80,000 to $100,000 range. Now I was still a teenager at this point, so I didn't really think I needed to like make more money. Like that wasn't my goal. My goal was always like, I want to solve bigger problems, but I didn't know how to do that. So the issue was I was stuck doing the same thing that got me to where I was, but I didn't know how to like get out of the plateau and explode into something new. So the only logical thing that I could do was I was like, I need to like surround myself by people that are exploding. I need to surround myself by people that are taking off and doing things. So I jumped into a mastermind that changed my life. I was in it for a couple years. And as a young teenager, I got involved and I got to spend time with these like very, very, very cool people, entrepreneurs from all over the world. People would fly into LA. We would all get to LA together, hang out for like 3 or 4 days, and just mastermind on each other's businesses, which a mastermind is really just people coming together and saying, hey, you're here for me, I'm here for you. Let's all grow each other's businesses. If we're all going to be like community over competition for just 3 days, we're all going to benefit from it. That's a mastermind. So I was doing these things, and I was in this season of like, hey, I've been doing photo, video for massive brands. I've been flying all over the world doing that stuff. I started doing marketing stuff, started building out campaigns. We were running social media for people, doing social management. We were doing some like website building. Like it was like a full service agency. It was going really well. But again, I wanted to solve bigger problems, and I feel like I plateaued. I couldn't do it. I wasn't getting like bigger clients. I was getting big clients, but I was doing only like a certain thing with them, and I wanted to do bigger things for people. So again, I put myself in proximity to this community, this group. I jumped into it, and I was in it for a couple years. And to get to the story, it was a long intro. To get to the story, basically, I come into this room for 3 days. We're in this container. We're at this hotel. It's gorgeous. And every day, all we did was just focus on, hey, what are some of the problems in your business? How can we collectively help you grow past it? And so, asking that question to like 35 entrepreneurs, just boom, 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 boom. And we went through that as a family together in everyone's businesses. Almost the same problem kept coming up. From my perspective, the same problems kept rising. And my perspective was, I see that problem, and I also think I have a solution for all these people. So I just kept talking and giving people perspective on where they were in, and trying to pull them out of what they were seeing and giving them new perspective. And eventually somebody looked at me and said, dude, like, this is amazing. You do this stuff, right? And I was like, no. I said, I run like a creative agency. Like, I don't do, and what we were really talking about was like people's brand. And I was like, no, I focus more on like photo, video, and marketing stuff, and which again, all makes up a brand. But in that moment, what happened was I was in a plateau in my business, but I was around people that were exploding, and they basically looked at me and said, dude, you've got like a lot of potential here. You're helping all of us answer this massive question about, who we are as a business, who we're talking to, things that we can't do on our own. You're really helping this entire group kind of pull each other out of those situations. You should package that. The guy who's running the group said, you should package that and start selling it. And so collectively, then they all focused on me, and we put something together. And within like a week, we had developed this process that we now sell for like 10 to 25K, depending on the size of the company and what we're doing with people. And it's this brand, we call it brand therapy. It's this process we walk people through.
It's so cool.
It's so fun. We still do that to this day. And that was the next season of explosive growth in my business, was when I got to latch onto that new idea, new concept, and we started implementing. And really, the agency turned from like a marketing agency. Today, it now looks more like a branding agency. And there was a lot of growth that came because of that. But I only got to jump and like take grasp of that growth because I used the plateau to actually do something for me. I used the plateau to get perspective from other people. I used the plateau to build into other people. And what happened was they went, yo, let us now build into you, because we see exactly how like this season you're in is setting you up for a new season of growth for you. Yeah. And so again, long way to get there. But the whole point of this is, if you can use the plateau the way that I use the plateau in that scenario, it can launch you into something you didn't even know. I stepped into that room for the first 3 days. And again, I was in that group for a couple of years, meeting again and again and again. That first time I went there, I didn't even like have the idea. That idea was never in my head to start doing brand strategy stuff. Mm-hmm. Never.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. I loved that stuff naturally. I thought I had a knack for it, but I didn't really have like a name to put on what I enjoyed doing. I didn't have a name to kind of point towards the things that I enjoyed helping people with. And then that group used the plateau I was in to help launch me. So
yeah. And that would have never happened if you hadn't put yourself in that environment. That would have never happened.
Never.
Ever.
I would have never come up with that sitting in my office alone, being like,
I'm just discouraged, and I just need to keep doing what I'm doing. And
I know what's going to get me out of this season. I'm going to go try and do another headlining video project for a company. Like, great, but that would not have gotten me out of that season.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have launched me into something, right?
Right. And I hope listening, you're thinking, man, what is possible if I actually use this plateau not to discourage me, but to actually view it as an opportunity? Like, what if this plateau is actually a runway for you to increase your 80K to 200K?
Totally.
What if it was, hey, I'm working 80 hours a week and I want to work 40 hours a week?
Even if it's going from 20K to your first 60K a year.
Absolutely.
Like, you need to use a plateau to explode into that. Like, that's that's 3xing your business. Like that's explosive.
Yeah. What if you're plateaued in the lack of fulfillment you have in your business?
Totally.
And this is actually the time for you to go, hey, I need outside perspective. What am I going to do in order to get the most out of my business and the most out of the fulfillment of what I do? What if you viewed it not as just this discouraging time, but really an opportunity to truly, truly succeed? And our good friend Becca was in a plateau section of her business, and she came into our Creativ Rise Mastermind. And I just want to read you a little bit about Becca's story from her perspective on what this looked like. She said, I made it my goal to leave my 9-to-5 when I joined the Creativ Rise Mastermind, totally thinking it would be months before I actually accomplished that. 3 weeks into the mastermind, I quit my job. She was in a corporate job. She quit her job.
I can still remember that conversation where she's like, guys,
so
I'm going to
good.
quit. We're like, woo! It was so fun.
It was a party. She said, I quit my job and went full time with photography and design. Fast forward a few months into the Creativ Rise Mastermind. Fast forward a few months and I'll be celebrating my first 6-figure year at the end of this year. And I'm forever changed because of it all.
Yeah. She had committed to like $100,000 worth of work within literally, I think, like 2.5 or 3 months.
Yeah.
After quitting her 9-to-5 and like exploding. You want to talk about a plateau someone's exploded out of. That's a great example. But it's only because she did a few very, very key things. She went, okay, I'm going to use this space I'm in to go, I don't want to stay here. So how can I gather things? How can I gather support from people? How can I gather new perspectives while I'm in this plateau? What is this plateau trying to teach me? Where is it trying to, push me? Who are the people it's pushing me towards that are also here? All those things are going to come together, and it's going to literally launch me into a new season. Yeah. That's exactly what she did.
And while Becca is unique and amazing, her story is actually not that unique to what we've experienced with people going through
totally
these plateaus.
Unique. She's amazing, but her story doesn't have to be unique. Like it doesn't have to be unique just to her. Like we want that for every single person that's listening in on this. Yeah. And we believe not only that like we want that for you, we believe you actually deserve that. At Creativ Rise, we talk about this all the time. You deserve to break the creative struggle. And so that's like the core of what we believe. That's the why behind the company. And then that gets lived out by like the cause of Creativ Rise is we exist to build a world where more creatives just like Becca get to do what they love and like massively succeed at it. Yeah. We believe that people deserve that and we know how to help people do that. And so we're so excited as we continue just to build this brand and build this community. It's really, I call it a brand. It's really a community of people. Like Creativ Rise has just exploded with so many people wanting to get involved in many different ways. Whether you're a podcast listener, you're someone who, tunes into everything we do on Instagram, whether you're someone who's jumped into the masterminds and now gone through our inner circle program, which is just so fun. Whether you're just like a friend, it's been an explosive community because people are attracted to, hey, I want to be around, people that want to build a world where just more people succeed. I want to be around a community that's others focused and wants people to succeed, especially in the creative industry, because that's so not how a lot of things are. So the best way that we help people do that as Creativ Rise is through our 6-week mastermind, which is so fun. And we're so excited because we haven't said this on the podcast yet, but
big news.
The mastermind is relaunching for another round. This will be round 6, I think. I think it's round 6. Yeah. It feels like we've done so many of them. It's hard to keep track. This will be round 6. It's launching on September 19th, 2021. Woo. So why is this important? Well, it's important because this is the exact thing that helped launch Becca into the freaking stratosphere. And Becca's business to today is unbelievable. It's still amazing. Incredible. And she's just continuing to just launch things and just go through and blow things up. And the community that really launched her into that was this 6-week mastermind. And so Christy and I are so grateful because we're launching another round of this and we know what happens. Like we've put over 100 people through this and there's been so many people with stories just like Becca, so many unique stories. And Becca, comes from the photo world. We've got people that come from like the social media world that have had very similar stories. We've got people that are filmmakers. We've got people that are like
designers, influencers.
We've had people that even make handmade things. So cool. Yeah. Very creative things. But we're so excited to launch it again. Now, here's the thing. It's 6 weeks of growth, basically on demand for your business. And the reason why we say on demand, We don't use those words lightly, but we say it's on demand because we've built it basically to be, it's not like a course you take. It's not like a course you're going to buy and you're never going to touch again, right? You never even open it. It sits in your inbox and you're like, whatever, I paid $197 for it. I'm never going to touch it. The mastermind is so different. We've designed it to be so different because you can't get left behind.
Yeah.
You can't get left in the plateau.
No.
Because it's 6 weeks of like education and implementation and accountability that you do with a community, which is why it actually changes people. And we built it that way because just like my story earlier in this podcast, that is what I experienced. I went through almost like 2.5 years, I think, of being in this one specific mastermind that changed everything for me because I was constantly around people that were launching into the stratosphere with their businesses and doing things. And being around that energy, like you can't stay small. You can't think small coming out of that, right? It's so different, especially when you're around people like that also want you to win. So the 6-week mastermind is growth on demand. We got amazing modules that we drop every single week for you. You actually get those modules for life. So you can always refer back to like, how do I operate, lead a sales call? You can go back and watch that 100 times until you're 100 if you want, we've got some amazing modules. Then we jump on Zoom every week together and we just connect and we go, hey, how can we help you? We mastermind. How can we help you with what your problem is right now? How can this community of all of us creatives from different creative realms help you, jump over the hurdles that are in front of you so you can get out of this plateau and you can launch, right? Or it's if you're already launching, how do you control like the rapid growth that you're experiencing? Because that's also, you need a community for that. And lastly, the third thing we built it around is the accountability. I know when I don't have people holding me accountable, I don't do things.
Oh, yeah.
So I need people. I specifically actually put myself into situations like masterminds. We're constantly putting ourselves in masterminds to be in situations where people have to hold us accountable. Because if I'm not held accountable, I'll probably just be out like cliff jumping or something, or mountain biking. So it's really important that we wanted to build that into the mastermind, build out, these accountability groups and build out ways that, we're ensuring you're going to be held responsible for what you want to be doing in your business. And that way it's going to actually get done. Yeah. Now here's the fun part about all this. If you're sitting here going, I want to be like Becca. I want to have a story like Becca. I want to launch something. I'm in a plateau. This is exactly what I need to get out of it. Or again, if you're already like launched into the stratosphere and you're like, I just need help because I don't know how to build a team. I don't know how to hire people properly. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to scale. I don't know how to, whatever it's going to be. You need help controlling that growth too. This is exactly, I stayed in masterminds for years simply to help control growth. Like there's so many ways that these things help. So we want to invite you into that. We want to invite you to jump into that. The best way to do that is you have to get on the wait list. We've sold this out every time we've launched it. And we only take consistently, we've been taking 20 to max. Once we took 30 people, but we're going to keep it smaller than that, I think. So there's a lot of people. I mean, the wait list is already huge.
Oh, we already have more people on the wait list than there are spots in the mastermind. So
by far.
That's where you got to get on the wait list.
The audience trying to get into this is big. So I'm urging you, if you're like, man, we got to jump into this, you've got to join the wait list. Because if you don't join the wait list, you will not get, here's the key, early access. This is application only. You have to apply for the mastermind. The reason for that is because so many people want to join it. We have to make it application only to make sure that we have the right people in the room. Because again, it's so focused on community so that you can blow up and so that the plateau can be used for leverage, that if the right people are in the room, it's just like exponential for everybody. So we make it application to make sure we know what everybody's intentions are with growing their businesses and just so we know where they're at and stuff. So if you get on the wait list, you get early access to apply. Early access to apply means we see your application first, and then we start handing out spots. So you've got to get on the wait list. This launches September 19th, but if you're on the wait list, you actually get access to apply September 17th, which we're so excited about. We can't wait. That's like our favorite email to send out to the wait list and send out to our text list, of all the people that text us and say, hey, put me on the wait list. And then we end up texting them the wait list stuff. It's our favorite thing because we send it out and we're like, whoa, then people just start flooding in applications.
So you might be going, Joey, stop talking. Just tell me how to get on the wait list. Just tell me how to get on the wait list. So how you're going to do that is you're going to text wait list to 916-587-6417.
You got that right.
Thank you.
Normally Christy doesn't remember that.
I literally was
sitting
here saying that number and thinking Joey's going to be so impressed by this right now.
916-587-6417.
Or if that's too hard for you, like it would be for me, go to Instagram, go to Creativ Rise, @Creativ Rise, and click the text button in our
There's
bio.
literally a button on our profile that says text us.
It's so easy.
You can literally text that. Just click that. It auto-populates our number.
Yep.
And
you just text waitlist to us, and then we will get you
Yeah.
all the information. We're also going to send you fun videos of kind of some behind the scenes and things that are coming in this
just
next
give you more
mastermind.
information. You can ask questions. If you're on the wait list, email us questions. Or if you're on the text wait list, awesome. Text us questions. We'll get back to you about it. So that when the 17th hits, you are like, boom, here's my application. You're so ready.
Yeah.
That's our goal. We want to just make sure people are ready and super confident in where you want to take your business and what you know you're going to have to do to get there.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, for most people, we'd argue this is the perfect way to launch into anything. But we want to make sure you got clarity on that.
It's just a ton of fun. It's a great, we just absolutely love doing this with people. And we get so excited watching people launch out of the plateau to pursue new ambitions, to pursue new things in their business, and to do it alongside of a community. It's like nothing else.
Totally.
So if you are in a place where you're kind of frustrated with your business, or you're going, man, my growth is explosive and I don't know how to control it, then this is for you. It's
totally
worked
for
for over 100 creatives.
Filmmakers, graphic designers, social media strategists, agency owners. I love working with the agency owners that come in.
Yeah.
Influencers. That's a really cool new one that we've started to really be able to invite into the Creativ Rise community, is people that have influence and they're like, hey, how do I monetize this better? How do I continue to grow my influence? Stuff like that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So again, text 916-587-6417. Just text the word waitlist and you're automatically on the waitlist. Or if you want to make it a little bit more complex, go to creativrise.com and there's 101 buttons that say join the waitlist. So it's really easy to get on the waitlist.
Easy for you.
Or go to our Instagram bio and just click text us and just type the word waitlist.
Yeah. So
You'll get
just
it.
want you to imagine what it would be like to, in October, November,
Totally.
being in a completely different place than you are right now.
6 weeks can shortcut you 5 years.
Yeah.
Seriously. People that have been through this will say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
anyways,
get
thanks
on
for
that
being here.
waitlist.
We really hope
appreciate you
that
guys.
this episode is going to help you get out of the plateau. It's going to help you use the plateau first before you can get out of it, and then eventually launch you into something incredible. Or if you're already launched and you're flying through the stratosphere and you're like, shoot, how do I control this? This episode is just going to help you get ready for your next plateau, because the plateaus don't stop coming. There's always going to be plateaus. So we're excited for you. Thanks for tuning in. Leave us a review. Again, 5-star written reviews are what help this show grow. And also, if you just take the show, if you're on IGTV especially, click the share thing, put it on your story, or screenshot this if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're just listening, just screenshot it, put it on your story, tag us so we see it, so we can repost you and say thank you, because we so appreciate that. And that way the show grows, and more people just like you can live in a world where they get to do what they love and succeed at it. So thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys.